Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with the video. Alright, so it's 1:18 and I feel good. Headed over to the therapist. Gotta be there at 3, so I got some time to walk down, languish him comfortably. As soon as I got back to the house after doing my Target run, I came in and listened to that playlist I hadn't listened to. It was good. It had some music on there that I liked. Some of that stuff was not very good. The production was good, but it was a song on there. Dude was so off beat. You could tell he had done like one take of the song and just said, forget it, let me just go off and do something else with my time. And I get it. It's a lot of things that artists can do. They're not making the type of money that would make it so that they want to do 40 and 50 takes of a song to get it right. But when you have a complex song with a certain cadence flow that you're trying to use, if you offbeat, a trained ear is going to be able to hear that. And I could hear it. It was bad. The person who was on the song with him got it right, did his part right. But this artist, whose album it's on, ruined his own damn song. So I thought that just speaks to how little artists tend to care about the art these days when it comes to certain cadence and stuff like that. They don't care, man. They're going to do one take and then they're going to get back to their lives. And they're going to take whatever little money comes from that because they're not making a whole lot off of it. So, I mean, when they start paying these artists right, they'll get back to loving the perfection of the art. But until then, these young kids don't care, man. They high and they get money in other ways, so they're gonna do whatever song they want to do, and that's it. If they can't make any money off of it, it doesn't make any sense for them to do it. So that's really how they're looking at it. And I get it. I don't ask that they do more than what they're getting paid to do. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, you also can't expect me to appreciate the art if it sucks. And if you're going to have a certain cadence, but you're going to be lagging behind the beat in such a way that it sounds like you only did one take, it's going to suck. So that's kind of what it was, man. Students need to be paid properly. And then from there, I expect more effort from them. So that's really what it comes down to. So yeah, man, I'm just enjoying my day for the most part. It's gotten a little warmer out here since this morning. No complaints. Did my workout while I was listening to the playlist. Instead of making art, I did that. And hopefully it can make it so that I have a fresher walk right here. That's really what it comes down to. I'm just not trying to take too many days off of my hundreds. That's really what it comes down to. Because of these Lakers and all this early game schedule crap they got going on. You know, had to try to squeeze it in between the day. So that's what I did. I did it early, sweated it out, showered afterward, and I should be good from here on out. I got all my workouts done, and I usually want to eat after a workout, but I ate before I left, and it was a big bowl of oatmeal, so I don't really need much else. I think I overspent this time, though, as it pertains to my EBT balance. It's not where it needs to be. We still got a whole... But they don't pay us till the 7th. So I messed up this go around buying too many berries, and berries are more expensive than I gave them credit for. Red, what do they call them? Blackberries and stuff like that. Constantly putting those in my meal has helped with my stomach, but just in turn it's zapped away from the money. So I'm gonna be on a real tight budget, or may not be able to purchase everything I need to purchase over the next 14 days, or however long it's gonna be before we get paid. So that's just my bad. I got a little comfortable this past month, but it is what it is, man. Trying to find stuff that you can eat, trying to make the stomach respond well to what I eat. I'm not eating a lot of stuff that people are capable of eating every day because my body won't digest it properly. So I gotta be careful. And what I found is that blackberries have worked, as you guys know already. So blackberries and blueberries I've been throwing in my meals, along with grapes, but grapes I guess are out of season because they didn't have any down there. They replaced them with strawberries, which I don't really love. Strawberries are cool if they're mixed with other stuff, but strawberries by themselves, I tend to not like them very much. The good ones I find that I enjoy, like if you bite into a good strawberry, it's really good, but I'd say 90% of the strawberries that I've bitten into have not been really good. So for me, it's not like I don't really want to incorporate that into my diet like I do grapes. But it's a lost process for a guy like me who likes to eat monotonously when fruits are in certain seasons. So like, for example, I want to eat pomegranate every day. I can't eat pomegranate every day because it's only in season in certain months. And I'm finding the same thing is true with grapes. So that's just what it is, man. I don't have to love it, but it is what it is. So I got less grapes this go round, and I don't know how that's going to affect my meal portions, but because I toss so many grapes into every meal, but we just got to live with what we got to live with, man. So yeah, man, at least apples don't go out of season. That's what I appreciate the most. That's the most important one of them, apples and bananas. But now that I like berries and grapes, and I can't find the grapes, it's like, what the hell, man? But it is what it is. Just gotta do what I do. But yeah, man, continuing to post everything that I do on Instagram stories. I don't put too much on my feed. But on the stories, I've been putting nothing but Gaza stuff and art. That's it. And I've been flooding them with Gaza stuff because I ain't did no art. But, you know, my thing is not to show dead bodies and all different types of stuff. That's not what I'm trying to do, because there are a lot of people who can't. They've had traumas in their lives that don't allow them to view stuff like that. You know, my intake of that is secondhand. I haven't seen a whole lot of that in my real life, so I can stomach it a bit better than somebody who may have witnessed something in their lives or did something in their lives and take them back to those places. So that's not my intention, is to put a lot of what's raw up there, even though that's so important for the wide public to see, especially with Israel's propaganda and America's silence. We do need to see what's going on there, and that's part of why I'm so intent on spreading the word, is because I have seen so much of what's going on there. But I think what I can do, what feels right to me, is to humanize those people. Drop the news of what's going on with all the treaties and all that stuff that ain't being done. And drop the propaganda that Israel's putting up there to show their people the contrast of what it is they want them to know versus what it is that we're actually seeing. And then humanize the children. Anytime I see something with kids talking from Palestine, kids talking from Yemen, kids talking from Congo, I try to post as much of that human stuff that we're not going to get from our CNNs and our ABCs or whatever. They're not going to show us the human side of these people because they're too busy trying to mold us into believing that it's okay to discard of them. No different than they've done with my people and Mexican people and all different types of people that they want to paint out to be whoever they want them to be so they can treat them in any kind of way and have public support. And so my intention is to put as much of that on my feed as you can see, so that you, when you look at your own child, will see those children in their eyes. And that is ultimately what I can do that feels right to my spirit, rather than trying to traumatize people with the trauma that is happening to these children. Humanize them so that when we come to their defense, you can see where it's necessary for you to join in. And so that's really what it's about, man. Humanizing these people, because we're not going to get that from no other news sites, and Israel controls most of what it is we see. / America, us real, that's what it is, the combination of both countries, and in their own self-interest, aligning with one another. And so I really know my place in this fight. Let's talk about it on my channel, tell you guys the trauma that I've seen, tell you about all the gore and the unthinkable violence and the teasing that's on top of it, the psychological violence and the bullying and the abuse. I speak of that, but if you were to follow my IG and click on my stories, what you will likely see is a bunch of children who are in tough situations but are being interviewed in certain things like that. So that's what I want to make normal, man. Make normal. Humanize these people the way I wish people would humanize my people. You know what I mean? Humanize Palestinian people the way that black people deserve to be humanized in the 60s when we were fighting the racism that we were faced with. When they were telling people who the Black Panthers were, when they were telling people who Malcolm X was, you needed to see what humanity was in the eyes of the people we fought for and the fight people they fought for. So that's really what it's about, man. Not everybody can stomach the bad stuff, but you can definitely look in the eyes of a child and disarm yourself from believing bullcrap. And that's exactly what I want to do, is disarm people from believing bullcrap. It's the first thing Israel's propaganda wants to throw at you when considering why they're so comfortable killing kids is the idea that Hamas is fine with them doing so. If Hamas wanted this to stop, all they had to do was get back the hostages. As if the taking of hostages, if I'm to believe that's even true, which I have many reasons to believe it's probably not, but even if that were to be the case, as if those who are killing these people in response to whatever they're responding to isn't reacting to a response themselves. 75 years of what the Palestinians went through at the behest of Israel. A made-up country made up of basically settlers from Europe and other places that have come together to decide they want to hijack land. And in the response of being reacted to for doing that, they lost a lot of people back in the 50s. And now their intention is to make Palestine pay for that. That's really what it is. They lost plenty of people in the 50s because Palestine came back and wiped some of them out. Some of their crazy people came through and killed some of their kids, and they never forgave them. So now that's really what you're seeing, is a response to the response to the response to the response. But it started with settlers coming in saying, yo, we have a right to take this land because, well, we are us, we're white, and we should take it. You know, and that's really what it is. And ever since then, they've been embedding in the skulls of their own people propaganda that would allow for just lawlessness and cruelty as a norm, so that they could have the support to do the wrongdoings that they're doing toward these people. You know, propaganda that makes it seem as if it's fine from a fundamental standpoint to demand that people you are torturing never respond to your bullying. That's essentially what Israel's on. Like, dare you buck back at us, even though we're getting our rocks off on torturing you. Dare you. And as you respond, now we use all of our energy toward trying to convince everybody else that you're the bad guy, as they're continuing the bombardment of horrible energy onto these people. And so, you know, when you ask the critical questions, you can come to the conclusion that this is what it is. And that's all it is. And as you move forward in understanding that, you're not confused by the propaganda, and you're forced to look in the eyes of those who are and question whether or not they know better. Which, because of the application of propaganda upon our people in America, I understand that they don't know better. You know, these are just people indoctrinated in the belief of their own country, and this is what their country's beliefs are. And they losing people, and they believe that they lost people, and the fundamental base from which they believe is that they have a right to treat these people however they want to. And then from there, everything else that comes with it. So it's like, nah, that base is demonic. It's unfair, it's lacking balance, and it's lacking humanity. And whatever else happens after that sprouts a certain vitriol from within the Israeli people and from within the Israeli propaganda toward Palestinians and anyone who supports Palestinian resistance. You know, and that's really what it is. So they want to tell you Hamas is the worst people in the world. What they ain't going to tell you is that Hamas, two things they ain't going to tell you about Hamas is, one, Netanyahu gave Hamas the power they have. He's the one that gave them the power over the land, because as we understand, he's had power over the land the whole time. His people, and they control what goes on in Palestine. They have controlled it the entire time. And they've been keeping their foot on these people's necks the whole time. So whatever power is in place was ordained by him, which is why when they say Hamas took hostages, I say, oh, so a facet of the Israeli government took hostages, because that's all I think Hamas really is. That's all I think they really are. And when you consider that, then you understand why Israel already knew everywhere Hamas would be, quote unquote, hiding. You know, it's cruelty It's creative cruelty is what I call it, because they always find new creative ways of doing horrible things to these people. The latest thing that I saw was them changing the expiration date on food, so that when people go to buy food, it tells them that it's okay for them to eat when it's really expired and all messed up. That's what Israel's been doing to them lately. It's just like it never ends. They always find new creative ways to torture these people. And so it's like, if you think for 1 second that we're not paying attention to all of this and we ain't gonna have something to say about it, then you're really delusional. You're delusional. And that's what I think ultimately this is the world awakening to the delusions of not only those who think they can do this, but the application of how delusional, how we are placed in a space of delusion with these same applications upon different subjects within our own countries. How they get us to believe that we need to rock the vote at all costs. Like we guilt trip us into thinking that we're disrespecting the dead for not voting for one of their two evil bastards. I mean, it's like, picking a side and keeping us divided. But we understand that divide and conquer is the way, right? But they apply this to our people as if we don't understand this concept. And since it's been in place for 200 years, people have aligned with it and got their heart tied up into it and all of that. And it's just, at the end of the day, it's all control of the mind to control the energy of the people. But it all falls apart once you have something like the internet come about to show the world what lies have been told to them, to show the peoples that not only these lies are in place, but how these lies were ever bought in the first place. And so Israel is an example to the rest of us of how propaganda's been controlling this world, and how all these connected entities of government are all intertwined in their agreement to apply these methods to their people. It's literally it. They apply these methods, whatever the subject is, as we talked about yesterday in one of the therapy sessions. They apply these methods to get us to buy into whatever it is they want us to buy into, get us to be undying in our support for them, regardless if they're right or wrong, and get us to buy into the idea that they have our best interests at heart and that we should follow their rules and laws, for which, as we clearly see, they don't often abide by, or they often skewer so that they can nestle themselves comfortably in between those laws. Anti-Semitism. That word has been officially changed in regards to the definition of it as it's understood. Officially changed. What that word now incorporates is any pro-Palestinian support. So when they say anti-Semitism is up and anti-Semitism demonstrations are up, they are literally incorporating all support for Palestinian. Anytime you see protests going on all over the world, they incorporate that into anti-Semitism based on the definition that has been changed. That is information we need to understand. So when you see that people telling you, hey, anti-Semitism's up, pro-hate on Jews is up, what they're really saying is they've incorporated the support for their enemies as hate toward themselves. Because dare you come to the aid of the people they're torturing, dare you. And that's literally how they operate and think and believe you're supposed to adhere to that because they're the chosen people of God. It's just, it's really sick. It's absolutely delusional and nuts, and it's heavily indoctrined within their people and their thinking. And a lot of their people have a lot of power all over the world, and had this in their hearts as they were garnering that power. And so when we look around and see, oh, why this, why that? How come we see this support but not that support over there? It's because these are the same people behind it with their power showing what's in their heart. What they truly believe, which is up with them, down with you. If you're not with them. And definitely down with the Palestinians and definitely down with people who support them. You know, same old racist behavior that we've seen in our own country. When people would come to the aid of black people and they call them in lovers. It's the same people doing the same thing. It's the same people doing the same thing. This is just a different form of the KKK, a different form of white supremacy. It's what they do. They took that from where they're from and spread it all over the world. Just like they took black people from Africa and spread slavery all over the world. That's what it is. It's what they do. You got to see the correlation between the behaviors. It's what they do. They take what they are from where they're from, and they spread it everywhere. And they made sure that they controlled where the money goes and where it comes from. They made sure they educated themselves in the key areas and placed themselves in key areas so that the infrastructure of society is relied upon whether or not they're there in support and they're ultimately controlled. They control the world so long as we don't upend what it is that they ultimately do. They control it, and that's why you're seeing so much cooperation with this satanic and psychotic behavior. It's because people are afraid of losing everything if they don't allow these people to continue doing what they do. The problem is, what they do is bad for business, at the very least. So then it becomes a situation where they're deteriorating their own thing, and that's what it is that you're seeing now. People boycotting them and all different types of stuff. It's like, yo, you can't do this and think people are just gonna go along with it. Because people have children and they see the children in the eyes of these people, and you have people like myself who are humanizing who it is you want to do this to. So one by one, people are waking up to the understanding that not only should they stop you from doing this, but they should also stop you from controlling whatever else you control, because obviously you bring this with it. So world revolution is on the horizon. That goes without saying, and it's because they've done this, and now we're aware of it. That's really it. And they can't silence everybody, and it's too late to do so because too many people are now awake. We've already begun those conversations. And so what's important is that we show our children their children. That's what's important. So our kids can have a passion for undoing this nonsense with the long life that they have ahead. So that our children can educate themselves with this in their hearts. And that's what I'm seeing a lot of people do. You see more little kids saying free Palestine, babies with free Palestine on their hearts, because their parents are teaching them right from wrong, like the actual right from wrong, not the new definition, that kind of thing. And so that's what it's about, man. It's letting people understand and letting the children understand what their long lives ahead will have to be about in order to undo the hypocrisy of what it is that's kept us together, moving the way that we've been moving. And then they can get into the little nooks and crannies of what it is that ultimately is hidden, and undo some of that hidden agenda nonsense that those Zionists have on their minds in regards to controlling black people, Spanish people, borders, and all different types of other stuff in this country and anything else that goes on around this world that ultimately they have control over the funding of. It just needs to be understood. This is what the world is made of. This is what the evil in the world is all about. They have their hands in every evil thing you could possibly think of. And they have control over most governments. Most. Because they control the money. And so that's really what it comes down to, man. I want to bring awareness to what it is that I know to the best of my ability as often as possible. If I'm annoying people with this, that speaks to you having something wrong with you in regards to this. You should probably get some help for your lack of humanity. If you can hear what it is I'm saying and think I'm not supposed to go as hard as I am, then you're probably part of the problem. Probably, more than likely, you are why these children are continuing to move into spaces where they're being abused and people are supporting their abusers. It's because of people like you who would be annoyed with people like me for having a problem with it and wanting to do something about it. So that's pretty much what I gotta say, man. This ain't going away. It's not going away because they're not stopping. Every day there's something new that they're doing, as I said, new creative ways that they're coming up with to not only destroy these people, but to try to justify within doing it. And because of it, you need logical individuals with a heart to speak up. speak out and not be afraid of what they can lose for doing so. So hopefully more of those people are being awakened now, and hopefully I'm dropping a drop in the bucket in regards to doing that myself with my channel and my efforts on IG. And that's pretty much it, man. Nothing's gonna change my mind about this. I've seen too much already. I've already seen too much, so it is what it is, man. I'm not gonna stop talking about it, and I hope that you don't either. Hope you begin if you haven't already, because this only continues if they continue to believe that they can get away with it. And the only way they can continue to get away with it is if people move on as life as usual and put themselves first over these kids, put themselves first over these poor people, put themselves first over the need for the change that is taking place. Not to mention that they likely have your minds wrapped up in some bull crap by way of the applications of how they do things. So you probably should want to be liberated from that. So that's pretty much what I got to say. My name is BDF 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.